What if I told you that every single night when you fall asleep, you die, and the person who wakes up tomorrow morning isn't actually you? Here's the unsettling part: science can't fully prove you wrong. Your brain rewrites itself so completely every night that the version of you who wakes up is emotionally and neurologically a slightly different person. And once you understand why, you will never look at a normal night's sleep the same way again. So let's get into it because the answer is as fascinating as it is disturbing. Think about it for a second. In the wild, closing your eyes, going completely still, and losing awareness of everything around you is basically an invitation to die. A deer that sleeps too deeply gets eaten by a predator. A monkey that loses focus for too long falls out of a tree. And yet humans, supposedly the smartest species on the planet, spend nearly a third of our entire lives, roughly 26 years, in this exact, defenseless, unconscious state. If sleep were only about resting the body, evolution would have found a safer solution by now. So the real question isn't what sleep does for you. The real question is what sleep is doing to you. In 1953, two researchers at the University of Chicago, Nathaniel Kleitman and Eugene Azarinsky, were observing sleeping infants, and they noticed something no one had documented before. The babies were deeply asleep, but behind their closed eyelids, their eyes were darting rapidly back and forth. When the researchers checked brain activity, the readings looked almost identical to being awake. This was the discovery of REM sleep. And what they found next was even stranger. During a REM, your body becomes effectively paralyzed. Your brain deliberately shuts down most muscle function so you don't physically act out your dreams. Your heart rate shifts, your breathing turns irregular, and brain activity spikes to near waking levels. So here's the problem. If sleep is supposed to be rest, why is the brain burning so much energy while you're completely unconscious? Something else was clearly going on. In the 1980s, neuroscientist Giulio Tononi proposed a theory that sounds almost disturbing. His question was, what if sleep isn't mainly about resting the brain? What if it's about deleting parts of it? Every second you're awake, your brain is strengthening connections between neurons. Every conversation, every face, every notification, all of it builds tiny pathways in your head. If that process never stopped, your brain would eventually overload, like a hard drive filling up with noise. So sleep works like a nightly reset. Important connections survive, weak ones get trimmed away. Your brain is literally deciding, while you're unconscious, what deserves to stay and what deserves to be forgotten. In 2003, researchers at the University of Wisconsin found that sleep-deprived animals struggled to properly consolidate memories. The information got in, but the sorting process broke down. And then came the brain scans. Using modern imaging, scientists discovered that during deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows through the brain in rhythmic waves, flushing out metabolic waste, including proteins like Alzheimer's disease. Your sleeping brain isn't shutting down. It's cleaning itself, repairing itself, editing itself. Here's where things get deeply personal. Because the brain activity happening while you sleep might shape who you are more than the hours you spend awake. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that emotional experiences get replayed during sleep, but in altered form: embarrassment, fear, grief, attraction, humiliation. Your brain actively reprocesses all of it. Sleep literally changes how you feel about your own life. The version of you that wakes up tomorrow is not psychologically identical to the version that fell asleep tonight. Your brain has already adjusted the emotional weight of your memories while you were completely unaware, which means something strange but true. You're being rewritten a little every single night. Now, here's something that might change how you think about sleep forever. Humans didn't always sleep the way we do now. Historian Roger Ekirch uncovered over 500 historical references pointing to something called segmented sleep. For centuries, people slept in two separate phases. They'd fall asleep shortly after sunset, wake up naturally around midnight for an hour or two, and then fall back asleep until dawn. This middle waking period shows up everywhere: medieval court records, medical texts, personal diaries, literature. People prayed, talked, reflected by candlelight, then went back to sleep. So, if you wake up at 2 a.m. and can't fall back asleep right away, it might not be a malfunction. It might be an ancient pattern your body still remembers. And that makes modern sleep feel a lot stranger. Because today, millions of people panic the moment they wake up in the middle of the night. They assume something is wrong: insomnia, anxiety, dysfunction. But for most of human history, one unbroken 8-hour block of sleep wasn't the norm at all. Artificial lighting changed that. Factories changed that. Work schedules changed that. Your body never evolved around modern clocks. Modern clocks forced your body to adapt to them. In 2022, the CDC estimated that more than a third of American adults are chronically sleep deprived. And when sleep patterns break down, rates of anxiety, depression, obesity, and heart disease climb sharply. Your nervous system is ancient, your environment isn't, and every single night, those two realities collide inside your skull, which leads to an unsettling question. If consciousness is what makes you you, then sleep temporarily erases it every single day. Your awareness disappears, your sense of time vanishes, your identity dissolves into fragments, dreams, and unconscious electrical storms. And then, hours later, consciousness returns, and you just assume, without any proof, that the person who woke up is the same person who fell asleep. But how would you actually prove that? The version of you from yesterday is already gone. Its emotions have shifted. Its neural connections have changed. Its memories have been edited. Your brain survived the night. But the exact mind you had before sleep didn't. Something slightly different woke up in its place. So maybe that's the real reason humans sleep. Not because the brain needs to shut down, but because it needs to constantly rebuild itself. Every night, you close your eyes, believing the same person will open them tomorrow. But in the dark, your brain never stops changing, quietly deciding what stays, quietly deciding what disappears. And by morning, another version of you steps back into the world carrying only the pieces your brain decided were worth keeping.